Hi everyone and welcome to the Warhammer podcast. We're your hosts, Jack
and Dan.
And today we're looking at why is Games Workshop so leaky?
Unreal how leaky it is.
There's a joke in there about the Titanic and how it sunk, but maybe Games Workshop isn't sinking just quite yet.
It's definitely not sinking, but it is at least as leaky as a Titanic after it drove into an iceberg. I've never known a big company in the entertainment sector to be so plagued by leaks.
Yeah, it's just on brand plague.
That's
the peak of comedy.
Yeah.
Goodbye, everyone.
The funniest joke I've ever made is an accidental one. That's it now. I'm going home.
Yeah, that's it. We're doing but yeah, there's just so much stuff going on with Games Workshop.
It feels like every time they try and do something, they either accidentally leak it themselves, like when they leak a new model and send it to somebody.
Like a month ahead of time,
or somebody within that kind of inner circle leaks the rules.
Yeah.
Like it feels almost like you expect a leak of a codex now.
Yeah.
Which is like, a weird position to be in.
Yeah, it's weird. Like we'll talk about a few reasons on why it happens and such later, but like, it could be an inside job, this,
Could be. I mean,
spicy.
Well, I'll run through what we're going to talk about just to try and hopefully hold your interest a little bit longer. But we'll look at what the latest leaks are, which has prompted this video. What do they tell us about 40k and especially the direction the game's going in? Like, does this give us any hints about what's coming in 11th edition?
Yeah.
Might be clutching at straws, but I think it's worth discussing.
Always worth a shout.
I think how leaks happen is something that we need to talk about, particularly for GW. Why is GW so prone to leaks? Are they harmful to GW? And can or should GW fix this?
Interesting topics. Hopefully, we'll uncover them all.
Well, there's a lot to go through. But I mean, what prompted this is there's been there's been two codexes basically leaked. One of them fully, and the other one kind of like bits of it. I think, isn't it?
Exactly.
But do you want to pick this one up? Or
Certainly can. Yeah, no, certainly can. So the first one, the biggest one, is World Eaters.
Oh yeah.
So their entire codex has been leaked.
Yeah.
The entire codex.
Yes.
Now this is. Credit where credit is due. The full codex was leaked on YouTube from a video from a YouTube channel called Blog for the Blood God.
Yeah, it's a great
cool if on-brand name.
Yeah, if you like Chaos, in particular World Eaters, this guy is his videos are well worth checking out.
He knows his stuff.
Top competitive player, I think, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in Team Australia.
Oh wow, right.
Yeah, so he's trusted source for World Eaters as well. He's been doing it for a while. He's a good player. I've watched the video a couple of times now. And,
I've seen a couple of his videos. I really like them.
He knows what he's talking about when it comes to World Eaters.
Yeah, he definitely
he knows
does.
how to play them. So
yes.
if you haven't checked him out, go check him out on YouTube. It's a good video, full breakdown, but it's really, really good. But basically, in this leak, there is 5 detachments for the World Eaters. Several of them looking pretty good. Most of them, I would say, on par with the rest of
they
the
look
detachments.
playable.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
There's a Rhino detachment which looks really strong.
I'm
jumping in and out of those tanks.
I'm going to use this word. I know it's overused, but it does look bonkers good. I like more Dakar good. It looks very strong. Points obviously going to make a massive, but I saw it and I was like, "Ooh, that looks a bit much."
There's lots of changes, and another one is some massive changes from Index. Some highlights, some bad news first. Do you want to talk about the bad news?
Well, you can't rapid ingress Angron anymore when he comes back.
Sad times.
Yeah, and he only comes back with 8 wounds now.
I think there's been a knee-jerk reaction to Angron being nerfed as hard because I think everyone went, "Oh my god, Angron's trash now. The army is crap." But I think there's a lot of good stuff that has came from this that might bring them back slightly. In my thoughts,
I think they were quite kind of, and I fully agree with you. I think they were a little bit focused on Angron because it was basically. I know it's a dice game, but it was like, I'm going to yeet Angron up the board. Yeah. Can I roll hot enough to bring him back? Because if you can, that's a Primarch coming back. It's a lot of points.
It's a lot of points.
So he has got a bit nerfed. I think also there's no more advance and charge from the Blessings of Khorne, which a lot of I know our friend Lewis is really disappointed in that, but there's a lot of Khorne players a bit salty about it because. But there's a lot of other movement shenanigans in it in the rules for them now.
Those have actually been moved to core abilities for some of the units.
For some of the units,
yes, they're gone for the entire army, but they've been implemented into the core data sheet of some units. So good and bad on that one, I would say.
Yeah, I honestly prefer that because it means that you've got to think a bit more as a World Eaters player where you want to allocate these things, and that can only be good for the game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Angron also, if you take Angron, if he comes back, he can't take any of the blessings.
I like that as well, to be fair. I think that's reasonable.
Oh, you reckon?
Yeah.
There'll be a lot of that. Well, I'm hearing people screaming at you right now.
I just think it's bringing Angron back is such a big thing that should be it. Like being able to stack other buffs after that, it might. I mean, time will tell, won't it? But
True.
It could feel like a bit much in my experience.
Yeah. And then no advanced charge, as I said, and no feel no pain as well.
Right. That's
again been moved.
That's going to hurt.
It is. Yeah. It is because they aren't the toughest out there.
No, they will come and hit you very hard, but they will die. Yeah.
Some good news then. Should we move on to that?
Yes.
So Lord of Juggernaut grants unit has a 10-inch move and a 3-inch engagement.
3-inch engagement range is mental.
That's considering you think it's only half inch of engagement range. 3-inch engagement range. That is massive.
Yeah, it's within an inch, isn't it?
He is hitting everything.
Yeah,
he's hitting everything.
It's going to be really interesting to see if this is a new thing that GW is experimenting with, and we might see it in other armies. Like, can you imagine the Nightbringer with a 3-inch engagement range?
Oh my god!
Yeah.
He's, to be fair, his base. He definitely needs a new model before he gets something like that.
Well, let's say if he just gets a bigger base, he basically gets a
exactly.
That'll do him, yeah.
We'll take that. We'll take that win.
Yeah.
Another thing is a Slaughterbound gives a bound Scout 6 and can res 1 model per turn.
That's big.
That is nice.
Yeah, it's a nice durability buff. That
again, durability and obviously one of those guys coming back will make a massive difference. Don't they get like 5 attacks, 6 attacks?
8 bound are vicious. Yeah. They're actually quite hard to put down, and if they can just bring another one back. But Scout 6 is quite nice as well. Again, it's like we're talking about giving those movement shenanigans in different ways.
There seems to be a lot more staging in this one because again they've removed that advance and charge kind of shenanigan from the blessing. It seems like they really focus on more on the staging element opposed to just a turn 1 charge. Kind of thing. But moving on again from that, we've got the Spawn have a 10-inch movement, Scout 8, advance and charge, and a 5-up. Feel no pain, is that it?
Yeah, so Spawn all of a sudden got really good.
Jumping up there, really good stuff. And I've always struggled to kill Spawn in the past.
I really love them as I think they're in a kind of an iconic Chaos unit, but they don't see a lot of play, so it's nice. I mean, they're going to see a lot of play now.
They are. Yeah. Again, points determining it if the points are good, but I think the Spawn on that many points right now.
No,
I don't think that many. No. Got 2 at least, anyways. And I think the last one there, if an enemy unit finishes a move within 9 inches of a Rhino, the unit inside the Rhino can get out. So that's quite good part of that detachment, isn't it? That have came out. So it's going to be good to protect the Rhino, but also just have that extra ability to move and such later on and be a bit more safe and be a bit more. You could also do on the flip side if you know that Rhino's going to explode and you want your guys out. You might just get them out of the vehicle on the other side.
Absolutely,
to protect that unit. Rhino explodes and you run through the crowd.
Yeah,
I think it's
very powerful. Yeah,
plenty of play with that one.
That's it. It's a lot more strategic than just advance and charge everything and yeet. Which it should be. But for good World Eaters players, I think they'll be rubbing their hands at this because there's going to be lots and lots of ways that they can exploit these new rules to really powerful effect. The other one that I did see was that you can take berserkers in units of 20. Ooh. I don't know if that's right because that would be mental. Because I mean they are the mainstay, but 10 of them wasn't like 20 of those will hit like a truck. And they can blood surge D6 plus 2 inches now. Which is a lot, So if you shoot them, every time you shoot them, they can blood surge D6 plus 2 inches. So they can get up at you pretty quick.
I don't like it.
No,
I don't like it.
I mean,
melee armies always throw me off because I'm more of a shooty back kind of.
Fast melee armies are scary.
Again, I think this obviously with I know it was indexed prior, but this I like a codex because it's going to give them a lot more versatility in terms of what we can do on the field. I'm looking forward to see what people build of the lists because again, if you think about it, the World Eaters range isn't massive, so I'm interested to see what they can make with what they've got.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for me, I think GW's done on looks on paper that GW's done a brilliant job of capturing how, in my eyes, World Eaters should play.
Yes,
like they are still, like we said, they're still going to be extreme. They're still going to hurt you when they touch you. They're going to kill what they touch.
Yeah,
they've still got lots of movement shenanigans. They've still got you've still got your dice to do various things, like to add those blessings and stuff. It's just not quite as cookie cutter, I suppose, as it was in Index.
It's like Index was like A to B. It's like you charge. Yeah, it's like what is my job?
Well, Index was like, right, what blessings do I want? Well, I want this one because I can advance and charge, and I'm going to do this, and then I want to bring Angron back, and it was basically one way to play, wasn't it?
Yeah, Angron constantly, for sure. Again, I quite like the idea of, what was I going to say there about the Angron shenanigans, where it's like, I prefer the Blessings of Khorne being moved to the core abilities on a data sheet, because they are good, but what this basically allows you to do is that instead of having that advance in charge and Angron, you now have both, because if you're bringing those units that have advance in charge, that's on the core data sheet.
Yes.
And if you are going to be building towards Angron and then bringing him back constantly and forgetting
that's true.
You don't need the Blessings of Khorne.
Yeah.
You're just bringing Angron back constantly, and those units that you've brought have it built in. For whatever your play style is, I think it would work well.
I think there's on paper, I think some of this looks very, very, very strong. And I think I'm not concerned for the meta, because World Eaters deserve their chance to shine.
Yeah.
I didn't feel bad when Orcs got more Daka, because you knew it wasn't going to last very long. It was almost kind of funny.
Immediately.
If I was a serious tournament player, it might have knocked me a bit more, because you were going to go to events for 3 weeks and not win anything.
Yeah.
And that might be the case with World Eaters. We'll just have to see how you nailed it before. We're going to have to see how we have to see how the points land.
Nailed. Nails.
Butcher's nails.
Is that what we're going with? Yeah, but no, again, I quite agree with where the blog of blog. I can't even say his name.
I know it's hard, isn't it?
The BBB.
Yeah.
blog of the Blood God.
Yeah.
Again, go check him out on YouTube if you haven't already. He's really good. But I agree with what you were saying. Having most things moved to the data slate again was really good.
Yeah, definitely.
He also mentioned that the detachments were not OP, but quite.
I mean, he's got a better handle on it than me, but I think at least one of them, the Rhino one, is going to probably be OP. And I think depending where the points land, a couple of them might be pretty strong. Yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, like I said. Yeah. I think if there is one that's OP, it'll get tweaked eventually and it'll get sorted out.
I'm just looking forward to see what they can make. I said it before, but like, again, they don't have a big range of units, so what they can do with what they've got, I think is going to be really interesting.
Good.
Yeah. Well, that's not all. That's not the other leak that's kind of going on. There's another one going out, isn't there, Dan?
That was the really big one. The other one was Death Guard, obviously getting their codex. So it wasn't, as far as I can tell, wasn't a full codex leak.
No.
But various things popped up on Reddit and Discord, which look legit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think from I forgot what his name. It came from a source. There's one of the sources out there that is pretty respected out there as well. I've written it down somewhere.
I mean, there's videos on both of these. Obviously, we both recommend the blog for the Blood God full breakdown if you like World Eaters.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're just looking to get the headlines, Auspex has done reaction video to those leaks, and he's also done one on the Death Guard leaks.
That's it. Sorry, that was it. Chapter Master Val, he's mentioned about a Comet Patrol coming out, which kind of plays into the leaks and such that are coming out. So it's kind of like, it's like these little things that are coming out kind of marry up to the leaks themselves.
So I mean, he's very rare. Let's be honest, he's often right, isn't he, Val?
Yeah, that's it.
So yes, latest leaks, Reddit and Discord. Here's what we know. First of all, Mortarion is a lot less of a buffing character, and he's more of an absolute murderer, which I actually quite like.
Yeah.
So he's going to lose his ignores modify aura, which I really hated. So I'm happy about that.
Yes.
I mean, who would have an ignore modifier aura, like the Silent King, perhaps? Yeah. I like it on the Silent King. Yeah. Don't like it on anybody else.
No one else. This could be playable.
But yeah, he gained some real killing power apparently. And like World Eaters, several of these detachments look quite playable. I think some of the headlines are durability, which is what Death Guard are all about, isn't it?
They love it. Slow-moving, tough vehicles.
So
guys.
Your base Plague Marines are going up to T6, which I think puts them on a power Custodes. And your Terminators, they get a big glow up. So Terminators are now toughness 7. That is big. Yeah. Death Shroud Terminators get a 6-inch deep strike built in. And Blight Lord Terminators are going to hit a lot harder. They've got 2 damage melee, an extra AP and strength when shooting something within contagion range. It looks like they're going to lose a couple of data sheets, so the Terminator Lords and Terminator Sorcerer might be going. We'll have to wait and see on that.
Again, all rumoured for now. Yeah. But if that's right, that's scary.
I mean, it kind of feels 6-inch deep strike's a bit worrying, but it's it's good. I mean, I would imagine it'll be 6-inch deep strike, but you can't charge. Which it's still
which would
strong.
Make sense. That fits a lot of bills when it comes to other things. But then if you think about it, like, I mean, Thousand Suns had that like ability to like move and like charge and such. So who knows what they're going to be doing with these guys, because they are tasty.
But it also looks like cultists are not going to be in their codex, which is interesting. But there's been some rumours, I think it was on Spiky Bits, that said that the heavy bloat drone might be making a comeback. So that wasn't in the index, but it looks like it might be back.
And I'm sure there's a bloat drone inside the comp patrol that shot the massive Valak.
Yes, there is definitely I mean, the bloat drone exists, whether the heavy bloat drone is like a variant or something. But there's definitely some changes in terms of data sheets that look like they're going to happen. And obviously some big changes in terms of the toughness and durability of those core units.
It's just the toughness is going to be class. I know that's obviously what a lot of the play styles people went into back in 9th and such. When
I mean, 9th, I think they were -1 damage, weren't they? But they were
-1 hit. They could get like -1 hit as well on some like enhancements. So just overall tough cookies.
Yes, because like you said, they needed it because they were plodding up the board. But if you can 6-inch deep strike, that's going to make a massive difference.
I'm probably going to see a few of them coming out.
Well, you just rapid ingress, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
just rapid ingress.
I'm in your back line. Let's have fun. It's like, no, I can't kill you because you're toughness like 7 now.
A T7 is huge. Like, it's big.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to shrug off. I was going to say, just overall, scared of these rumors if they were to be true.
I mean, it's looking like they are pretty legit, but they are. It's going to transform Death Guard, isn't it? How they play.
Yeah. It'll be again interesting. I would like to see what their detachments are going to be a bit more as well.
It's a shame almost we got spoiled with the World Eaters because we got very clear
overspoiled.
Breakdown of everything. This one is still a bit more kind of obscure, isn't it?
Kind of thing. So it'll be nice to once the leak finally comes out. So, it'll be nice to see.
Well, it'll be interesting to see because the World Eaters have fully come out. Whether somebody now goes, well, stuff it. I'm going to fully leak the Death Guard one. We'll have to.
I want my time in the light.
But yeah, I agree with you. That, I mean, Death Guard for me is an army that I'm not a massive fan of facing. I don't know about you.
Nah, I get both of them. To be fair, World Eaters because I don't like being in melee. Yeah, and then these guys because I kind of shoot them and kill them. Yeah, and I was like, no. Yeah. To be fair, I kind of complain too much because I know Necrons are known for their reanimation and such. So coming back is a pain. So for these guys to come back.
I've had mixed results against Death Guard, Index Death Guard. I've had mixed results. I would like to think, I'd have to check my app, but I would like to think I'm roughly 50-50.
Yeah.
I've been beaten a few times and I think I've nicked a few games off them as well. Nice. But I know what you mean. But I mean, I think there's it's a bit more of a mixed bag than World Eaters. World Eaters looked overall was all very positive, seemed to be quite positive apart from the Angron stuff.
True.
And the Feel No Pain. But it does feel like they're going back to how Death Guard used to be in my eyes.
Yeah. It's like moving on to kind of, I guess, the idea of kind of like what do these leaks kind of tell we're about 40k, and especially when it comes to 11th edition. First of all, I think we've mentioned it briefly before, but these guys, I think these two codexes have been written by the good half of the writers over in Games Workshop.
Yes.
We see this kind of trend where like a set of codexes come out which are awful, and then we see a set come out which are fantastic. I think these guys are on this side.
The first year of 10th, we've got codexes in pairs, and you would get one like we got. Was it Necrons and Admech?
Something like that.
Whoever, but I mean, it was very clear that the Admech was written by the
intern.
Yeah, they're not. Sorry, design studio, but it's a fact. But you're right. I mean, that's a really good point because the Emperor's Children Codex wasn't. It was like people are excited about Emperor's Children, but it wasn't. It didn't set the world on fire, did it?
No. It was. They came out and it was like, oh, the units look great. What do they do?
Yeah.
Nothing.
They're kind of fast. They kind of fast and hit you and then they die.
That's it.
Whereas but by deduction, then, if these two are the good, there's 4 Chaos Codexes. Yeah. If these two are the good ones,
Thousand Suns and what was it? Space Wolves? No.
Yeah, Thousand Suns and Emperor's Children. So Thousand Suns are not going to be the good one, then, are they?
No. Sorry. Out there. You might want to start selling your models.
I mean, it might be that one team got 3 to write and one team got the Emperor's Children, but it doesn't look likely.
Don't think so. No. Don't think so. Yeah. So
the odds are not in your favour. Thousand Suns players.
Prediction for us: the next 2 codexes that come out are going to be awful.
Yeah.
Heard it here first.
Thousand Suns, or it's not going to be all his dust, it'll be all his shit.
Yeah. Ooze and shit.
Yeah. Just dried dung. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously Games Workshop cannot keep a lid on these releases either. It's just funny. It's again, we'll talk about it later if it's good or bad for them, but it's just at this point, it's just funny. Like, do we expect leaks? Like we were
talking about this. I mean, you kind of do now. I think the blog for the Blood God one was really ballsy because he's publicly very often these things are all done almost anonymously on Discords and Reddit, and he's gone full on. Yeah,
I respect it. I'm not even mad at it. I think it's great.
what that means for him means, like, if let's assume that GW had sent him the codex, if they'd done that, he's never getting anything from GW again.
Absolutely not. Then,
He's going to be on the blacklist, isn't he?
Yeah.
But also, I worry a little bit because Australia is not, no disrespect Aussies, but it's not the biggest 40k community. So if GW decides to do some detective work, it will probably not be very hard for them to work out who showed him the codex.
Well, they could. I mean, the Games Workshop could easily do that thing where they do with, like, you know, scripts for, like, actors and such, where, like, and each actor gets, like, a different ending,
slightly different.
Yeah. And then this is how, like, kind of the rat out kind of who's dropping the leaks and such.
But I know what you mean. I mean, we are coming into the final year of 10th edition. We're not quite there yet, but we're coming into it. And in 9th edition, if it follows the same pattern, that was basically the fun times, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was when they got rid of force organization charts. If you never played 9th, we were restricted on how many units. Each unit was categorized, so it wasn't just battle line and transports and everything else. It was kind of, you would have troops and elites and fast attack, heavy supports,
HQs and such. Yeah.
So you were limited, and then they kind of at the end, towards the end of the night, they just went, go and have fun with your toys.
Yeah. Go play with them all. Have fun.
So this, I think maybe this might give us some insights as well. So these codexes show us that 11th might see. Is definitely seeing an end to one good detachment per book. They've made the mistake they've made in 10th was that it's for most armies it's been this is the only way to competitively play.
Yeah.
And that's not, for some people that's not fun.
No.
If you own the models or don't like that style of play, then you were kind of stuck with it. And we know people that have just basically pulled out of factions and sold their armies because they've gone, well, this isn't for me.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, obviously we mentioned it before, but our friend Lewis played Tyranids. When they got rid of the psychic phase, immediately he was like, well, that's how I liked playing them.
Yeah.
So I'm not
I'm not I don't want to play them anymore. Yeah. Which is really sad. But this looks very, very promising that they've found a way to make at least 2 or 3 detachments playable at any good level.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing with an unplayable detachment, and you can argue with a toss about this, but if you take the worst detachment from a bad book, like let's say AdMech, for example, in a casual setting, that is going to, even in a casual game, that is going to really hamstring you. And in competitive, you know, unless you're some kind of genius, you're not going to win anything.
No.
So it does matter. Balance matters. So the fact that internal balance in a codex, if there's more than one detachment, more than one way to play, that can only be a good thing for the game.
It's very true. It's very true. You could almost say that, like, they're releasing the leaks accidentally to, like, test the waters. How do people react? Is it overpowered, underpowered? Do they hate it? Do they not like? Do they like it or not?
That was. I mean, it did occur to me as well. I mean, should we move on to that in terms of how the leaks happen?
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, how is this happening?
How is it keep doing it? You guys at home can't keep your bloody mouth shut. That's what it is, and I love it, and I want more of it.
But it's getting to the point now where they might as well just announce these things early themselves, isn't it? I mean,
I mean, leaks obviously happen because, you know, people again can't keep their mouth shut. You know, again, you mentioned before, which I think is the funniest thing. They sent the model out early. For one, guys. So if anyone who doesn't know, if I'm not being up to date with it, there was a Death Guard model that they were going to release on. What was the event called? They were doing some event. They had like some trailer planned.
Adepticon, I think it was going to be Adepticon.
They had it all planned out to release it there. Yada yada yada.
Because that's where they announced the codex, wasn't it? Yeah.
And then somehow they accidentally sent that model.
Sent the whole sprue to somebody.
Out there.
Like who requested a different model. And he was like, guys, I don't think this is.
Guys, I think this is the wrong model. Post it online. Brilliant. They never contact them straight away. Always go to social media first.
But it was like they ended up having to announce it at the LVO like 3 months early or something. Idiots.
Honestly,
but I mean, in terms of codexes, there's a few people that get early access, isn't there?
There is. So obviously, there's a program that they can do where they get on board.
I think so. I think some of the influencer programs, some of those people are going to get codexes early, aren't they?
Exactly. Well, obviously not influencers yet, Dan.
Not influential at all. No.
Would we leak it, Dan? No,
GW just does. Yeah.
Absolutely not.
I'm on some discords of people who are in the influencer program, and you are not allowed to even discuss leaks. Never mind. Yeah, the GW has got a very hard line about it. They've
kind of got to, but at the same time, it's obviously not working.
They're obviously trying to keep it in. No, it definitely isn't.
It's obviously not working.
No,
they need a new program, I think.
So you got your content creators, and then you also mentioned this earlier, but you think it could be an inside job?
Why not? I mean, just to test the waters, right? Because who knows if they've printed the books out already for all the world leaders. But like it clearly is. But like releasing it early when the book's already printed, that's not good. Releasing it early when there is no book printed, that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Test the waters, see what the vibe is.
I think in marketing terms, you don't want to kind of show your whole hand. So the world leaders one is obviously absolutely not what they want.
It's why we do trailers for films.
Exactly.
We need a Codex trailer.
Yeah. So the Death Guard one could feel like a tactical leak, like a Codex trailer, where they go, well, let's just create some buzz.
Test the
here.
waters. Let's see how it's received. It's been received pretty well. So and not over the top as well. Either which is great. Yeah. So I think they'll probably go ahead with most of these leaks.
I mean, there's GW employees and they have contractors like playtesters. So that these people, I think some, and particularly around playtesters would be my guess, which are probably people from the competitive scene that GW knows and trusts. And I think what happens is almost a spiral effect. The Death Guard one I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
So, and I think what happens is, like, let's say you're a playtester, and I'm like, you're like, oh, that new Death Guard Codex looks decent, and I'm a Death Guard player. I'm like, Jack. Yeah. Send us a couple of screenshots.
Oh, well, they've got like, a 12-inch move. T13. It's looking. Oh, Dan. Don't say that again.
But that's it. Like, you might say, okay, I'll send you some screenshots, but don't share them with anybody else.
I'm just vibe checking. How does this look?
Yeah.
And sends entire codex.
But then, these things tend to spiral. Like, so let's say you trust GW trusts you, so they send you the codex. Sure. You trust me, so you send me a couple of pictures. Yeah. I trust my friend Dan, so I send him the pictures.
Oh, I haven't trust Dan.
And then Dan just leaks them on Reddit.
Dan's a little
Dan's a little rat. No one likes a grass, Dan.
he's the iceberg. But please print all my 3D stuff, Dan. I take that back.
But that's probably how it happens. It's probably the best of intentions.
Of course.
So a playtester gets it and thinks, well, I won't send it to everybody, but I trust that one person, and then that one person send it to somebody else.
And that's where we get like leaks that are probably false as well, because again, it's just Chinese whispers.
You can get China. I mean, recently a lot of the leaks, when we haven't necessarily seen pages like we've seen in this one, or the whole codex like we saw for World Eaters, but we've had leaks on Discord and Reddit where they've said this is coming and this is what this army's going to get, and it's been bang on.
And it's just like, how? Like, where do you get this information from?
Well, it's from early access to the codex, isn't it? So there is obviously the community that has the. Well, let's talk about this. Is why is GW and 40K in particular? Why is it so prone to these leaks? Like, why do they seem to get more leaks than anything else?
I mean, because
you don't get these from like other game systems, do you?
No, we don't. I mean, Games Workshop is a big company. It's been leaking for years since the internet,
basically.
I just don't think they have a good grasp on retaining information. I just don't think they've got the support or the right channels set up.
Yeah, like there's too many people, isn't there?
Yeah, I think we've banged on before though. Like can they stop the leaks? I don't know if that's a question to ask or if we're asking it later, but like realistically, like it's like, look, you need playtesters to make sure this game is going to work right.
Yes, this is exactly the point.
Of course, we've mentioned before, you need to play test more. So we're initially telling them that there's going to be more leaks to begin with anyways. Of course, you can sign NDAs, but people, as you say, people chat. People trust people to not pass on the information.
There was a lot fewer leaks and codex leaks, if I remember correctly. Tell me if I'm wrong in the comments, but my recollection of a lot of 9th was a lot fewer leaks of codexes. And I think that was because GW had been hurt and didn't trust as many people, and it kind of retracted into itself. And the start of 10th felt like that, but like you said, what that means is that the trade-off was not enough playtesting got done.
Yeah.
So they've now the community's gone. You didn't do enough playtesting.
Eldar
were broken. Yeah. Well, the 10th.
that was just you, Dan.
Eldar were broken at the start of 10th.
Yeah.
And the community, and then do you remember? Almost immediately after that, the community reacted, and within the space of about a week, GW put a job advert out for a playtester. They realise what they've done.
Of course,
so they are struggling to get this balance between bringing enough people in to test it so it's balanced, and leaks, and there is not a happy medium in between, is there?
No, I mean, in a way, they could do something like when 10 first came out. Yeah, they did that thing where you got the starter box and you went online to basically see who won your first game. Yeah. That in itself is actually a really good way to see if anything's broken. Because you get your box and you play your first game. That is, we mentioned it in our last podcast where it was like, should competitive players or should casual players have the biggest say?
Yes.
That was a perfect intro because both competitors I can't even say the word now anymore.
Yeah,
but
both
casual and competitive players had their input
Yes.
into it via a form. I think that was a really good way.
That's an interesting point, actually. So yes, I mean, because the structure of GW now is to try and get as balanced, and they are trying. Let's be honest.
Yeah, they're doing really well. But
fundamentally, their business model for balance is hotfix, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's live updates, patching it, fix it. Get it out there if it's to the best of our ability, and if it's broken, we'll fix it later.
And with the app now, they can do it on command, whereas in the past, we would have to have those like supplement books.
Oh, God,
I remember going into the Games Workshop and being like, oh, I want to start Tyranids. Oh, great. Well, look, here's the codex. Yeah. Here's the supplement. Oh, but you also need like these extra
I think there was 2 extra books for Tyranids in 9th, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was that, but then also like the points changes and stuff.
Oh, you need all the
Minotaurium.
Minotaur field manual and all that,
Screw all that, man.
Yeah.
So that was a bloody night. The guy tried to send me like 4 books, and I was like, I'm at 60 quid. And I've got no models. Because a box at least.
I've got nothing left.
I've got nothing left. Holding my pennies. But yeah, it's just like it's nice that the app's there to kind of help with these kind of changes and such. But that isn't going to stop the leaks. I think leaks are going to happen regardless.
I think there's also an issue with, and this might be my perspective, so tell me if I'm wrong again, and I'm really interested to know what you think about this. But I think there's also a lot of us have a love-hate relationship with GW, so there's not a lot of goodwill there, so people don't feel like they care that much about leaking.
Like the respect for them is kind of not there, really. It's like, I don't respect you enough to hold this information.
They've gouged us for every penny that they can get in terms of the model pricing and how they monetize a lot of aspects of the game.
I think a lot of people were probably hurt in 9th because of that codex script that went on. It was simply like, you are selling your models. Every codex that comes out, you're looking to sell that range of models.
It was very obvious, wasn't it?
Yeah, whereas in 10th, they have got quite a bit better, and they've gained a lot more respect for me with the app that they're doing.
They've made big strides in this edition.
They have. I still don't agree with a lot of things when it comes to like what they've done for the animators a couple of years back.
You're doing it again now,
I will still hold a massive grudge against them for that. Again, with the app, I mean, I've always said, there's 2 ways that can go about the app. Make it free because we pay enough for it, or do a subscription model where we don't need to buy the codexes separately.
100%.
And you have a subscription for, again, like $6.99 or something like that, which gives you all codexes. Because, again, a codex is like, how much now? 35 quid?
Yeah,
something like that?
37 quid, I think.
So then, I mean, again, people will most likely have multiple armies, and it's just hard, basically.
It is. So that's I think that's one of the reasons why there are so many leaks, is because people don't feel that loyalty to the brand that they maybe did in the past. Let us know what you think about that. But that's my theory, and I'm sticking with it.
No, I think you're on the right lines again, because I think they just haven't had very much good favour, like the animators and such.
They've made a few wrong. They've took a few wrong decisions, and you can kind of see why they've done it. But they've been very, very focused on maximising their profits at the expense of customer experience sometimes, which is not good.
Nah, I mean, speaking about like harmful stuff to Games Workshop, I mean, are leaks harmful to Games Workshop, anyways?
I mean, that's a really interesting question.
Like, for me, it's a mixture, really, because again, we talked briefly about the Death Guard guy getting released a bit early. That would have hurt, because again, they had like a scheduled release plan. They had some stuff that they were going to be doing for the event, and for them to accidentally do it themselves, it makes them look incompetent.
It's clown shoes, isn't it?
Exactly right there. Yeah. So I think that sort of leak makes them look daft.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's a player leaking the information, again, doesn't make them look as bad, because it's like, well, look, that wasn't us. We give a trusted source. Remove that. We just need to identify who that trusted source is. So
and eliminate them.
And take them out. No more Warhammer for them.
Exterminators.
But again, I think depending on what the leak it is what makes it harmful for the company.
I would agree with that to a certain degree. I think on a, like you say, on a corporate or reputational level, it can be perceived as harmful.
Yeah.
And I think it's clear to investors and stakeholders that GW has a leak problem. But on the flip side of that is it is not hurting their sales or profits or share price, which are the things that investors care about.
Yeah.
So if internally, I think GW management are probably absolutely seething about this again.
Yes,
the heads will roll.
Yeah,
I don't mean people internally in GW are going to lose their jobs, but there will be an inquisition. There will be an inquiry into
Games
this.
Workshop style inquisition. Yeah.
I think you've got to think, if you're GW, you don't, they're obviously very anti-leaks, as we said, because the content creators that they work with are under very strict rules and not to leak, and the people within their Discord are not even allowed to discuss leaks.
Yeah.
So it's obviously important to GW. So it does make them look bad, but I think it's maybe more a them problem rather than an us problem, and it's not impacting their financials. So
I mean, we'll see it year on year. Their profits are through the roof.
They just keep going
all
up and up,
all the time.
So it's. I mean, we talk about this about various aspects of the game. I think the 40K in particular is almost, it's not quite unique, but it's almost unique in that because of the amount of big brain power you need to play the game.
Sure.
We're largely quite an intelligent, resourceful community. So people are going to go and find this stuff from somewhere. That GW up against it because their player base is cleverer than them, basically. in a lot of degrees.
We're just passionate about it as well,
That is the other thing.
I think passion can outweigh intelligence to a lot of degree, because I mean, there's a lot of internet people out there who will just sit there and find stuff online.
There is so much clout to be gained by leaking stuff
being
as
the
well.
first to leak something. Yeah, it's big.
I would be very interested to look at blog for the Blood Gods subscribers.
We'll get there.
On his YouTube channel.
Yeah, it would have jumped up quite a bit for this.
Yeah,
to be fair, well deserved though, because again, it was a very nice breakdown, very well explained.
It's brilliantly done. It's a ballsy move,
and he's the first one to do it.
Yeah, he was the first one there, and that's do you know what? That's something that maybe we should also be thinking about. If I don't mind me chucking a curveball question in there, it's not on the script.
Let's go, dude.
But now that this has never happened before, where an independent, very respected voice has gone out there and gone, right, I've got the full codex, here it is. Does that not going to open the door to other people who are not within GW's inner influencer circle? If you are if you're an incredibly respected Thousand Sons player and their codex is next up, are you going to do this? Are you going to do the same thing? Because what have you got to lose?
Well, this you've got to outweigh the benefits and negatives to this, right? So he's done this video, which is a good video. It's going to get him a lot of views, a lot of subscribers.
Yes.
Great for his channel, and he'll be seen as a very good worldier player. Yada yada. Now it's like, right, what are the negatives? Well, Games Workshop know that you're a leaker. You will spill the beans, so you'll have all disconnected from that. Maybe if they went to the full extreme, could he get, I don't want to say it, DMCA'd on YouTube for spilling those beans?
I mean, that'd be an interest. That's a really interesting one. Because
I hope not, because I think that is the far end.
I'm not sure. It'd be really. That's a really. Oh goodness, I hadn't thought of that, because I'm wondering about the legalities of that, because he's been given information that he's sharing with us.
Yeah.
Can they do that to him?
He's not under NDA, right?
No, he's not. No,
I don't know how it works when it comes to this sort of stuff, but I mean, the Games Workshop is a big company. We've seen them do it with animators before.
Yeah, I don't know if they can give you a cease and desist based on you sharing leaks, unless they could prove that you'd broken a contract.
It's true.
If you broke a contract, you're in trouble.
Because obviously the way that, because obviously Allspecs has done a video on this as well, but he's talking specifically about what Blood for the Blood.
The same as what we're doing. Yeah. Don't cancel us.
Get the camera off.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, so it's just like, well, it's interesting because, like, I mean, look, that's a possibility. I don't know how extreme that could go.
I'm going to say that I'm not a lawyer, obviously. I'm a rules lawyer, but I'm not a lawyer. But
lawyers out there, get in the comments.
My instinct from what little I know about the law is that they probably can't. Yeah. What they could do as an extreme measure is ban you from official GW events.
That's what I was going to say next. Yeah. Yes. So if you really like going to events, like we like going, we're off to Warhammer World, literally this coming weekend. So it's more just like, well,
you're barred from Warhammer World, barred from Bugman's.
I'd say no, not Bugman's. But again, like, it's a possibility. Yeah. Certainly could.
Well, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, I think, but there is a lot of discussion at the moment, a lot of rumour that GW is trying to get a better handle on events, on tournaments. Like it's going to be more involved in running them, and that means that they are probably going to have to run to GW's rules. And if they insert a rule that says if you're a leaker you can't come,
if you're leaking, you ain't coming.
No. Well, that could cause people problems. So like the guy, and I'm sorry I can't remember his name, but the guy that runs that Blog for the Blood God YouTube channel is a very, very good competitive player. I think he's captain of Team Australia. He's probably one of the best, if not the best, World Eaters player in the world. So if he needs the ITC points from going to the LVO, for example, and he's not allowed to because GW's banned him, that would have an impact.
It would bloody suck for him. It's not something I would want Games Workshop to do because again, like, yes, he spilled.
I'm giving them ideas here.
I know. Stop this. But no, like I say that. I mean, you do have to kind of worry about that sort of stuff, though. If you are willing to spill the beans,
GW is known to be punitive, as you pointed out with animators. If they perceive that you're harming their business model, they will go after you.
Like an aggressive dog.
Yeah,
they just turn on.
Animators, 3D printers, they will do it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's be honest. The likelihood is they're going to think of something like this if they haven't already thought of it already. They've watched this now and are going to implement it. Sorry, Blog for the Blood God. We've just given them give
them ideas.
That I think would be the deterrent to try and stop players from leaking these things.
Like you can no longer welcome a tournament at events.
At GW events,
that would really suck for them. Because then it's like, well, you can't just label people like that. Like people will be then scared to make content around that sort of stuff, and that's when it would really suck.
I mean, if that's that, but that might be what GW wants. My guess would be that the community will simply give them the middle finger and do it anyway.
I think everyone. I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are, but I would just then double down on it and spread it more.
Because I mean, animation, it worked for about 2 or 3 years, but the last year or so we've seen them creeping back up, haven't we?
Creeping stuff like that,
and then they've just started to clamp down on it again, which is a shame. It's a real shame.
Mm-hmm.
But
I could rant about that for ages.
I know.
I'm just getting quiet slightly.
I think the likelihood, that's the danger of the leaks, is the likelihood is that GW is going to make GW double down on its efforts to prevent them, which is going to mean there will be harsher punishments. I think that's a very good point, mate.
Talking about like preventative leaks, can they really fix these leaks or not? Then,
what do you think about this?
Personally, I just think no, because it's impossible, right? The company's too big. Leaks are going to happen. Again, good leaks good leaks. I was going to say good leaks. Leaks that are done by themselves. Again, with the model being released.
Yeah.
Is that stoppable? Yeah, of course it is. But accidents happen all the time.
Yeah.
So leaks are going to happen. In external people, again, with like Blood for the Blood God.
We will get it right eventually.
Yeah. Those sort of leaks are again user based, but can they be stopped? Depending on who they're speaking to. Who depends on who the cluster of people are, because again, you don't want to. We mentioned it briefly before about how playtesters, you don't want them to be. You want a good variety of playtesters.
They need it.
People.
Yeah, the game needs it.
So having them is good, but then having too many is going to just have leaks.
I mean, GW, the only way to avoid that is to stop sending the codexes out early. They decide that sending the codexes out early so people can do codex review videos is not worth the risk of a leak.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that they would need to hire their own play testers, but they are notoriously stingy and they like to try and employ as few people as possible.
Yeah.
And they need it, again, if it comes to that point, they might do that, but I think they're just much more likely to threaten and punish people to try. I think
the threat, especially if they start again, as you said before, moving into the realm of organising more of these events. And
I'm worried about that. I'll be honest.
Well, I mean, look at BCP. They're asking you now to kind of link your Warhammer account up, so they're obviously making steps in the background in preparation for potentially taking over a lot of events. Opposed to taking over the events, I'd rather them see them just host more themselves.
I think the linkage is partly about data extraction to help with balance,
of course.
But I think it would not surprise me if GW was going to buy BCP because it's just a very good, rather than try and develop their own version, just buy it and reskin it.
Yeah. Which I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, BCP does loads of game systems, not just 40k and Sigmar, but
it might buy the code for it.
Yes, it might. I might be overstretching there. We'll see. Yeah. But I mean, as I said before, I think unless investors start calling for a fix, like the people that really call the shots at GW, I don't think that GW will.
I think they're getting bang anyways, so
they
like
don't care.
They don't need to care.
No.
I think is a better point.
I think, and I talked about this again in the past, but I do think that there are signs that it looks like GW is getting ready to sell the company. I think they're thinking.
You've said that a few times. I'm worried.
The share price is getting to the point where they think, well, that's probably about. This is a high price. The management team is a reasonable age, like they're ready to cash out. A lot of investors would be happy if they cashed out because they bought in when the shares were a lot lower. Everyone's going to make a lot of money, but there are other signs there in terms of what they're doing, which lead me to think that they might be going to sell the company. If you are trying to sell your company, you do not want to look like you cannot keep a hold of, that you're a leaky ship.
Yeah,
that's a really bad look. So that might encourage them to incentivize them over the next 18 months to 2 years, or whatever. If I'm right, might be wrong, but that would be an incentive for them to try and really clamp down on this.
To make it look like they'll have a handle on situations where they might even have just, again, if they clamp down for a year, then that's a year of no leaks, because again there's like a big threat of not going into tournaments, yada yada. Then at the end of that year, then sell it, because they're like, oh look, we've got a pitch to say we're under control.
You need to look under because somebody, GW would be a multi-billion-dollar acquisition probably, because it's worth, the company's worth a fortune.
Oh yeah.
So those kind of people will want to look at the dirt under your fingernails, before they make an acquisition. So that kind of thing is important. It's not a top priority, but it will get looked at. Yeah. So there is that possibility. Good.
I think that's really it from me. I don't think there's much more. Again, can they fix it? No.
Can we fix it? No, we can't.
Do I want them to fix it? No, I like the leaks. I want the leaks.
Not.
I was going to mention them before, but like with leaks and such, talking about how, if it's harmful for them or not, I don't think it is, because over this edition, at least anyways, they've got so much content coming out that a little leak here and there doesn't really doesn't give us like dry spells of nothing to talk about. You look back at 9th where you might have like 3 months between something. That really sucked to making content.
The news cycle in this edition has been mental compared to 9th, hasn't it?
Yeah, there's always something happening in each one, even outside of the game itself. Again, you've got loads more books coming out, the TV show, the animation and such that have probably been going on.
I would agree with that. I think there's two different things going on here, as hopefully we've defined in this video. But the full World Eaters Codex leak is something that nobody wants from GW, and everybody wants from a player base. We love to get early access to that stuff.
Want it.
We all love good gossip.
Yeah,
I think the Death Guard Codex leak is something that GW could have potentially done itself. I don't think they did in this instance, but it's the kind of thing that they might just leak out as a teaser, just to help build momentum and build excitement ahead of the full leak. I don't think that's the case. I think it's from a marketing perspective, GW's marketing team will probably be okay about the Death Guard one and not okay with the full Codex leak from the World Eaters.
It's a bit much from a company standpoint, right?
Exactly.
It sucks for them.
But I honestly found that a fascinating discussion. I hope you guys did at home. I think I think the TLDR is that it's not going away anytime soon, but GW is going to have a real fight on its hands to try and address this.
Yeah, I think, again, it's either going to be, I think it's going to go straight to the banhammer, basically. I think it's going to be the far end of the stick just to get it done, because I think they've tried stuff in the past before, it hasn't worked. Again, pulling back the testers, and obviously this is still getting done. So
I don't see any
big punishment.
I don't see any of this slowing down, and I actually think that the blog for the Blood God, got it right. Last one. I'm
not going to mention it. We've nailed it.
But
we got there.
I actually think that's opened a new door, because unless, like you say, unless he faces some kind of litigation,
I don't want him to.
No, I don't want him to either. But I think that's a light bulb moment for a lot of other content creators that might be within those circles where they can get access to that information. Because if I was somebody who was a faction expert and had a codex coming out, I would be looking to do the same thing, because it could massively elevate your channel, couldn't it?
Oh yeah.
Like
absolutely.
if we were the first people to fully leak the Necron Codex, we'd be king of the hill, wouldn't we?
You think about it, in our position right now, it's like, well, look, what do we have to lose?
Yeah,
know,
because
it's
we're not GW. We're not involved with GW.
No,
So we might never be because we slag them off all the time.
we're not really on their good side, are we?
It's tough love, GW. It's tough love.
We're just building character.
You need to hear these things.
Character.
Yeah. Someone's got to tell you. But yeah, so we would have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And there will be a lot of other content creators, much bigger than us, who specialize in factions, who would have the same view.
Thing is, again, this is probably what's going to happen with a blog for the Blood God.
Yeah, you got it
as
yes.
well.
Oh,
let's go. So his channel, he'll do that video, get lots of views, but then everyone who's be reporting on it as well, bigger channels, will probably get more views than him.
Well, that'd be interesting. Like the Allspecs reaction video to his leaks is probably big, if not bigger, than the actual leaks video. Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, and again, and that's not a bad thing. But like, because I went straight to his channel now, I knew I've heard him before.
Yeah,
and but when I watched this, I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna watch more of his videos now because I'm like, I liked his breakdown.
He makes it. He's got that style where he makes the competitive stuff easy to understand.
Digestible for me.
That's the word. Yeah. So there's a lot going on there, but I think hopefully we've covered it well.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating subject for us. Let us know in the comments if you've got any strong opinions on this.
Yeah.
Usually don't let us down. More than happy to have a discussion if you think we're wrong on some elements as well.
Oh yeah.
Have a nice friendly chat about it. Otherwise, I think right now on screen should be magically appearing the names of
the patrons, patrons and YouTube members. Thank you so much, everyone out there. Everything that you put in towards us really helps us. Helps us grow the channel. We've got some good plans in the future. Your new equipment, new merch, all that sort of stuff.
We're got a lot coming. And if you are not a member yet, the bottom tier is £3, which I'm guessing is about $4. US style, US currency,
style.
US style.
Finish the sentence.
Yeah, no,
you've been through enough now.
It's all the wheels are falling off. It's been a long pod. But yeah, if you can support us, even at that bottom end, that would be really, really appreciated. Help us just elevate this channel to the next level.
And obviously, Discord as well, free of charge. Please join that.
Oh yeah,
I love the engagement in there. Please join that.
Yeah,
because we know times are tough.
If you haven't got any money, just give us a like and a share on this video, and
That'll
come over and join the free Discord because it's class. We've got some lovely people in there.
Yeah, really appreciate it. So I think that's it then, right?
Yeah, thank you very much. And if you've enjoyed this, we'll be back soon with another video.
Thank you.